So today I'm going to show you how to make an AI podcast for your website. Okay, we're going to start by creating our podcast using Google Notebook LM. So if you search for Google Notebook LM, just pop into it, click Try Notebook. I already have mine all set up. And so this is my notebook page, and then you just click Create New Notebook. Once this page pops up, you'll get all these different things you can use. So you can use something from your Google Drive, a website, a YouTube page, or copy and paste text. I have a ton of articles on my website, so I'm creating my podcast from existing articles. But what you can do is grab one of our PLR articles and then just pop them in from the Google Drive or paste in the content and create your podcast from that. But what I'm going to do is just pull up an article that's on my website. I forget which ones I've already done. Let's do shadow work. Copy the link address, pop back into Google Notebook, paste in the website, insert, and then it will upload it to your notebook. So once you have everything uploaded, you can ask it to do all kinds of things. You can ask it to create a script for a movie if you want to record something live like this, or you have all these other options over here, and these are the options that I am just super excited about right now. So if you do an audio overview, then it'll give you a podcast, basically two AI characters talking to each other about the content that you've uploaded. Or if you do a video overview, then you can get an explainer video, and I'll talk about that later. Let's do the podcast. So it's generating the audio overview. And while it's doing that, that'll take, I think it takes like 3 to 5 minutes or something like that. We're going to pop into Canva. And if you don't have a paid Canva account, I'm pretty sure you can do all of this with their free account. So pop into Canva. I have a template already set up, but we'll just do a blank. I haven't done a blank one in so long, I can't even. Video, regular video landscape. There we go. We got a blank page. And then let's label this first podcast on shadow work or whatever topic you will be doing your podcast on. Okay. Just close out some of these windows. And I will pop back in as soon as this is done and we'll continue what we're doing. Okay, our podcast is ready. You can tell because the little wheels stopped turning. I highly recommend playing it here to see if you like it, because there's no point in doing the rest of this work if you don't like the podcast that it's produced for you. I've already listened to this, so I'm gonna download it. It's downloaded. Now I'm gonna pop back into Canva and click on Uploads. I'm going to upload it into Canva. And this is an audio, so we'll have to create a visual for it. Okay, once it's done downloading, just click on it and then it pops it into the page. And then you can see here, this audio is 15.55 minutes. And so just go into this page here, whoops, click on the page, shows the timing, and then type in 15.55. So then now we have our podcast.
It's really picked up steam.
And you know what? Actually, I usually like to increase the volume because these record quietly. So I increase the volume all the way up. And so now we just need a visual. And so I've created some podcasts, some AI podcast characters for my podcast. And how I do that is with Google Gemini. And I can go into how to, well, let's just do it now. So if you just Google search Google Gemini, and then you just pop yourself in there. You can ask it, let's say, create podcast hosts, age 30, enjoying the conversation, speaking to each other over a table, let's say, if that's what you want your podcast image to be. Let's just see what pops up because it's super fun to see what it creates. Okay, so there you go. There's an example of what you could use. Looks just like real people. This AI is insane. I have my podcast characters already created. So I'm going to go into here and I have them all set up. And so I've been using these two characters regularly. They are my AI podcast hosts. And the topic, we're talking about shadow work. So this doesn't seem like a super appropriate photo for that. Let's say, oops. All right, I'm going to snag one of the photos that I uploaded earlier as a starting point. And so if I go into my computer and find the base image that I want to use, I'm going to use podcast hosts looking at camera and then say, give them a more serious, no, give them, sorry, both more serious facial expressions, since they're going to be talking about shadow work. This podcast is about shadow work, so I want them, the AI characters, to reflect the topic. Like they are talking about something somber and important. Okay, let's see what it does. Okay, that took just a minute. All right, so it produced this image where they look like a little bit angry. I think I want them to look a bit more sad or concerned. Okay, change their expressions to look more concerned and empathetic. And concerned and empathetic. Yeah, we'll try that. Okay, so I feel like this is better. You can see that I had a ton of typos in my prompt and it still worked, so that's nice. Um, yeah, we'll use this. Okay, so then you just download the image and go into back into Canva where your podcast is, and then just upload files, upload the image that you just downloaded. Oops, sorry, uploaded the wrong one. I was in the wrong file. Downloads, upload file. Okay, so here they are. I have a static image for my podcast because you could string together videos or something like that for this podcast, but it's just audio. I don't see any point in doing that. So I just have a static photo of my podcast hosts talking about topic. And then at the end of my podcast, I would normally add like an outro. So here, let me show you what I have on my other one. Yeah, here's a past podcast I did. And so set this all up. I did a nice little frame with my branding and my website. And then at the end, I have a little thing that links to the website that I'm developing that's going to use this podcast. I'm just going to quickly copy over my branding. Yeah, just like listen to the timing.
Even self-love. Thanks for diving deep with us today.
Okay, that ending seems smooth. And I want to add in my branding, colors, and my website page so that anybody that watches it has like a similar vibe. Copy, copy, put this in here. Oops, get rid of this image. There. So we've got this brand there, and then I want to also copy the frame. Okay. All right, so it's all set. And from here, you can just click download. MP4 videos, what you want. All of the pages is what you want. Download. Okay, and so while that's downloading, we're going to go and create a cover image for this for our YouTube channel. And so I have all these cover images here. I already have a format that I like. And then I'm just going to refresh so that that image shows up. So we've got this image that we just created. Got this formatting that I like. Here's the image I just created. You know what? I'm sorry. I have a better format here. So like these are for my one person talking at the camera covers. And then I also have the two of them, my AI hosts. So this is the format that I want for this one. And then I just delete the old ones, insert the new ones, make them the size that I want, something like that. And then layer, send it back so that all my branding and everything comes up. And the title of my Shadow Work Prompts and Questions was the title of the article that we did and the podcast. Let's type it up. Shadow Work Prompts and Questions. And then I like to highlight some important part of the cover image. So we'll just do that. And then this is covering up their faces, so I need to make it smaller. Yeah. Maybe a little smaller. There we go. There's our cover with our podcast hosts. Okay, so download this. For this one, I keep this in a document with a bunch of other images. So when I click download, I'm going to select just this page, current page, done. And then I don't know why it wants me to do a PDF. I always do a JPEG. That's the easiest for YouTube covers, and download that. So then when we go over to YouTube, we just click on create. If you already are in your YouTube Creator Studio, upload video, select the podcast. It just pops it right up. First podcast on shadow work. That's not going to work for a YouTube title. So let's change it to shadow work prompts and questions again. Shadow work prompts and questions. I want to include a hashtag too, because I think shadow work is a popular search term. Yeah, 200,000 videos. We'll do that. And then I already have my settings preset to promote certain things in the text of all of my videos, but I do still want to add, since this video came from a specific article that's already published online, I want to publish the source. If you're using something that you copy and pasted, you don't need to do this. I just do this to give it a little bit more credibility. And then also you get people clicking on the link back to your original article. So it's good for SEO. So this, I just close that it's AI podcast. is based on the following source. Now, I used to write based on the following article, but Google Notebook LM calls them sources when it's referring to content. So I'm just trying to be consistent with what the podcast characters are saying. And then I copy this link. Okay, so you can see there's the video, and then we upload the thumbnail or the cover. Shadow work prompts and questions. There's the cover. I have the Awakening Collective podcast is the list I'm putting this in. This is a website that I'm currently working on building. It's brand new. I'm testing out all of these things on this brand new website. So there's that. And then I also want to disclose, so altered content, AI content. Yes, I used AI content. And then just click the next button. I always add an end screen, though, and sometimes it doesn't work. It's fine. I try to add an end screen if it's working, because then it just recommends other videos in your YouTube channel, which is nice. Let's try one more time. No, that's fine. You can go back and add it later. It does some kind of copyright check thing. And then I'm going to schedule this to post on October 12th, was I think the next date that I don't have a video scheduled. And I still haven't figured out what is the right time to post, so don't listen to me when it comes to this. But I'm going to do 9:15 a.m. because that's the time that I like to watch YouTube videos. Usually have like early lunch at like 11, and I usually watch a YouTube video during that time. So I want to make sure that's ready for people in my area, an hour earlier, an hour later at lunchtime. I have no idea if that's a good strategy or not. All right, so then it's up there. And then let me just show you like what the page looks like. So I've done a bunch of these. And so I have this podcast that I'm building. I only have a few subscribers so far. This is a new channel that I'm building. And I click on podcasts, view the full list, and then see I have all these different covers, all these different topics just that are just descriptions, basically, sometimes better than the ones I've written of these topics that I want people to know about. And then each of these covers has the AI characters doing like different positions so that it looks a bit more natural. Super cute, right? So if you want to build a podcast for your online business, your coaching business, your wellness business, this is just a wonderful way to do it fast, easy, free. So highly recommend. See you later.